So the next report that we're going, arts that we're going to look at involve transactions from SEC insiders. These helps you look at transactions among major industry players, see what stocks they're buying and selling. So with this, you can get a look at what the big time investors are doing and use that to help with your investment strategy. So we'll look at this one first, latest insider transactions. This looks at daily transactions for the last several trading days, last 5 trading days. You can see, so with this one, it gives you a look at who the insider was, who did the buying, what company they bought, what stock they bought, what sector they bought it in, and then the date information on the transaction. This column shows how much they bought or sold, and then the percent change relative to what they owned previously. So if it's in green font, then they bought. And if it's red font, then they sold. So the green is an increase, red is a decrease. And then from here, you get a look at the transaction price, the total market value, the value of the transaction, and then over here you have some other information on current price and whether they're a 10% owner in a stock, so whether they're like one of the largest owners of the stock. So this gives you a look at specific information with insider transactions that happened within the last several days. Then with here, you can filter the data based on specific values, like maybe a name of an insider or a specific symbol, if they're a 10% owner. And then with this column visibility, you can select which columns you want to see. And then with this search function, you can search specific symbols or insiders to filter it down. Then next, we'll look at BySymbol. This looks at overall transactions among certain stocks. This report shows you the stock symbol, the column on the left here, the sector that they're in, the number of insiders owning a stock, the buyers and sellers, as well as institutional investment and hedge fund investment. So you see this is pretty straightforward. You see all the information in one table here. If you want, you can search a specific symbol for a stock to see the insider transaction. So like if you look up Tesla, you see they have 41 SEC insiders, none of them bought, all of them sold. And then you have the latest institutional investment and hedge fund investment. So this one's good for like overall top-down data. And it's also helpful if you have a specific stock symbol that you're looking for. So maybe you don't want to necessarily search through the entire thing. You can just type the symbol in here and you'll find it. And as well, and also if you want to look at the table, more in a more filtered way, you can do it by maybe sector, maybe by specific by institution count, maybe by date. So yeah, it lets you filter. So right now, the data is by the past year, but if you want to filter it down for maybe a more narrow period of time, you can do that. And you can also change which columns you want to see based on what's going to work best for you. And last but most definitely not least, we've got all insider transactions report. This is kind of similar to the first report, but it tracks all the transactions from the previous year. So it's kind of it's very in-depth, but it's also wide-based. So it shows all the insider transactions for each stock, for each insider over the past year. So it kind of has a similar layout. It shows the symbol of the stock, the insider that bought it, the company name, the sector that they work in, and then date of the transaction, how many shares were bought or sold. And then over here, you've got more general information on the value of the transaction, the current price relative to the to current price. You compare that with the transaction price, and then you have like the insider title and if they're a 10% owner. One thing with this one, one thing with this one that's interesting, you can search based on specific stocks or symbols. So let's say you wanted to, again, we'll use Tesla as an example. You wanted to maybe just look at insider transactions among Tesla over the last year. You can see that. So it does help you filter it down a little bit if you're looking for one particular stock. We'll have Nike as another example. It does take a lot of time to sort through these transactions just because the search function has to go through. But you do see it once the search goes through. You see the insider doing the transaction, when it happened, how many shares they bought or sold. So this helps you look at, like, if you want to get a longer term look at, maybe you want to look at a specific stock and see over the past year, did an insider buy, did they sell, and kind of get a look at for how major investors overall are looking at a stock. This is a very valuable resource for that. So a big value of ThinkSabio is helping you see how the major investors are investing and help you model their strategies and success. And the SEC Insider reports are another great way to do that.